Thank you very much. Attorney General Marshall, we have different political views, but I'm going to predict that we might be able to agree on something right at the outset. I think the United States should have the strongest possible capitalist economy that it can. Do you agree?
I do.
All right. And capitalism is a lot like democracy. You get choices. And just like a democracy lets you choose between different candidates who may have very different political views, capitalism is supposed to let you choose between more than one product, service, or investment that meets your needs. Do you agree that choice is a fundamental premise of capitalism?
I do not disagree.
All right. Do not disagree. I'm going to take that as agree.
I will say it again. I agree with you.
Thank you. Mr. Marshall, when you buy a car, what criteria do you look at to make your final decision? What's important to you?
The quality of the vehicle and the cost.
Okay. The car that's best for you may not be the car that's best for me. I drive a minivan, and you maybe wouldn't be caught dead in one. For all I know, maybe you're a Tesla guy.
I drive a pickup, Congressman. Let me make that clear.
Well, I was going to get to that. You might. I have a lot of constituents who buy low-emission vehicles. You may have a lot of constituents who buy trucks to use for towing or hauling. The thought process behind shopping for a car is not so different from the thought process that goes into investing in a company. You gather information to see if you're getting what you want as a consumer, or in this case, an investor. Mr. Marshall, what kind of information would an environmentally conscious investor be looking for? Let's assume that these investors exist. What would they be looking for to make an investment that meets their needs?
I couldn't answer that question for you. I don't know exactly how you define what it is you're talking about.
Okay, so I think they're going to be looking for information about what the company's policies are to mitigate climate change risk, how they're addressing fluctuating energy costs that might be related to changes in market prices and availability of fossil fuels. They might be looking at how water shortages caused by drought might affect their business model, how supply chain interruptions caused by climate migration. There's any kinds of things they could be looking for. The point here is that a lot of investors want to know more than just dollar and cent disclosures when they're making the decision to invest or buy. Maybe you don't. Maybe all you want to look at is the dollars and cents. But environmental, social, and governance disclosures give those investors the option to take that information into account. And it's not just progressives. Plenty of conservatives have dumped their stock in Disney or stopped buying Bud Light because they think that they are too woke. Mr. Marshall, if a company became less woke based on market pressures, would you take legal action against them as AG?
You have to give me a little more information to know whether or not we could.
If Disney changed its policy on LGBTQ plus Americans, would you sue them? If they changed their policy to fail to protect LGBTQ Americans, would you sue them?
I think the analysis for us would not necessarily be whether or not that individual company changed its policy. The question is whether or not they were compelled to do so for otherwise unlawful reasons. It's one of the reasons why you see currently that there are active antitrust investigations involving multiple players on the ESG front, including Climate Action 100 and the Net Zero Banking Alliance. Can I finish, please?
Yep.
Very quickly. And our evaluation there is whether or not their actions incur corporations to make decisions that otherwise wouldn't be appropriate for them to make.
Okay, so let's break this down. It's very important to be clear with the American people. The Labor Department's rule does not impose a mandate. It permits fiduciaries to consider ESG standards if they believe those considerations are prudent in their decision-making and what the information is they want to provide investors. There's no mandate under the Department of Labor. And I think these antitrust concerns are at best misplaced. There is simply no evidence that there is a violation of the Sherman Act going on. There's no evidence that this is what's happening. It is up to each of these companies, to these initiatives are no different than other initiatives that corporations have that come together. These are private actors making their decision. It strains credulity for me to hear people suggest that BlackRock is some kind of leftist commie organization. For crying out loud, BlackRock is about delivering value, and in doing that, they are looking at a lot of different kinds of propositions about value, including good governance, including the effect that climate change may have on their bottom line. That's the whole point. This is about freedom. That's what we're talking about. Capitalism delivers freedom, and that happens when markets let people choose what they want. That's all that you're trying to block here. You're trying to block people from looking at disclosures that they find valuable. If they don't find them valuable, don't look at them. And I think capitalism is about choices. I heard you say you do too, so I hope you'll reconsider your policy. I yield back.
Hey, before you click on the next video, if y'all could do me a big favor and hit that like button. The algorithm loves it, and so do I, because it helps promote these videos and get the message out about what our government has been doing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications, because every time I put out a video, you want to know about it, right? Thanks again, and have a good one. See you on the next one. Peace.